Hello everyone, welcome to our today lecture. In our today lecture, we are going to discuss that what is the difference between rise and fall of demand. Basically, in case of a rise of demand, there is no change in price and demand increases, then it is called rise of demand, and there will be shifting of demand curve. In case of fall of demand, there is no change in price and demand decreases, it is called fall of demand. Basically, the question rises when there is no change in price. So, why demand is increasing or decreasing? So, basically, demand is increasing or decreasing due to those factors that are being held constant. As we have discussed in our earlier lectures in law of demand, that before stating any law, we have to make certain kind of assumption. We have to take certain things as constant. So, if there is any change in those variables which are being kept constant, so then there will be rise or fall of demand. So for example, in case of rise of demand, there is no change in price is constant and demand is increasing, then it is called rise of demand. And in case of fall of demand, there is no change in price is constant and demand is decreasing, so that is called fall of demand. And in this case there will be shifting of the demand curve. So for example, we have two prices, and in the second column we have demand. So the price is, for example, let's say 10 and the demand is 20, and then demand goes to 30. So there is no change in price but demand increases from 20 to 30. So in this case there will be shifting of the demand curve and we have two demand curve. So first one demand curve is D1 and the second demand curve will be D2. So at price 10 we have demand of 30, and again at price 10 we have demand of 30. So the price is same but the demand increases from 20 to 30. So in this case there will be shifting of the demand curve, and when there is no change in price and demand is increasing, then the demand curve will shift outward. Similarly, in case of fall of demand, let's say we have two prices, again the price is 10 and the demand decreases from 30 to 20. So as you can see that there is no change in price but demand is decreasing. Why demand is decreasing? Demand is decreasing because of those factors which are being kept constant. So again here price is 10 and demand is 20 and 30. So in this case our first demand curve is on 30, which is D1, and the second demand curve is on D2. So at price 10 the first demand is 30, then there is no change in price, then demand decreases from 30 to 20. So the demand curve will shift inward. So in case of fall of demand, demand curve will shift inward, and in case of rise of demand, demand curve will shift outward. So in case of rise and fall, there will be shifting of the demand curve, and we have at least two demand curve in case of shifting, while in case of movement we have only one demand curve. We are changing our position from point A to B, then point B to C. But in case of rise and fall we have separate demand curves, and in case of rise and fall there will be shifting of the demand curve. Demand curve is shifting because of those factors which are being kept constant. So when those factors are changes, then there will be shifting of the curve.